Well, let's stick with the subject of health. From artificial intelligence and wearable technology to weight loss drugs and mental health, there are a lot of major trends that we should expect to see this year, 2024. So Dr. T, she is here this morning to tell us some of the major health advancements that we're going to see for this year that could affect us every single day. Dr. T, good morning to you.
Good
Always
morning.
great to see you. I want to dive right in because just some fascinating things that we were talking about, particularly artificial intelligence and how it's really infiltrating the medical field.
Sure. We're hearing a lot about artificial intelligence. I mean, we've heard a lot about it with students using it to write their papers, but AI can be very, very helpful. And we can think about it like when you're developing a drug, right?
Okay.
You're trying to figure out which compound is going to be the best to target this particular condition. We can pour all the information about compounds and their shapes and their reactions into a computer, and the computer can shuffle all the information and tell us, okay, investigate these three. So it can really
kind of
shorten
model
that
for
time
us.
because it gives us models, so it can shorten the time to drug development, as opposed to having people pour through different experiments.
And it also helps in radiology, right, with accuracy?
Yes. So images, the imaging technology that we have today, it's not a photograph, right? So it can be very imprecise at the edges. And AI can help us sharpen those images and really interpret, is this an abnormal mass or is this just a bad picture? So AI can really help the experts refine what they're seeing in images.
Wow, that's it's just so fascinating to hear about the technology. Health equity, what is that exactly?
So health equity is a field where folks are looking at outcomes in medicine in different populations and saying, is everyone getting the same benefit from medicine and medical technology? And right now we know that the answer is no. And more people over the last few years have been looking into this, looking at the reasons why and what can we do to level that field so that no matter who you are coming into a medical encounter, black, white, young, old, that you have the same potential to get a good outcome.
Let's talk about mental health, because I feel like since the pandemic, there has been a destigmatization, if I can say that word, of seeking mental health. What do you see a furtherance of that this year?
Yes, mental health is so important because it's sort of the framework for how we live the rest of our lives, right? Whether you can be successful at work, in your relationships, with your children. And so it was wonderful during the pandemic that we saw the rise of these online access to mental health, because what it did, it put it in the conversation to say, hey, this is important, and we want everyone to have access, and we're going to see that continue.
And there's no shame in seeking help.
There's no shame in seeking help. It's important for all of us.
We have to address the weight loss drugs, because I feel like the popularity, the interest has really just spiked. What do you expect to see for this year?
We're going to see more of that. I mean, weight management continues to be a thorny problem. Losing weight is incredibly hard. Keeping it off is even more difficult. So we're seeing a lot of research and investigation to try to solve those problems, because we know that weight can come with some health issues. So we want to really keep the population healthy. We're going to see people continue to research this and develop drugs.
But we're talking about drugs like the Ozempics of the world, right? I mean, it becomes a situation where once you get off it, there's a good chance you're going to gain it all back. So are we going to see this ping pong?
And that's why we're going to continue to see development, because that problem of keeping weight off continues to plague us. We still don't have good remedies for how do you keep the weight off once you've lost it. And so people are going to keep looking at solutions for that.
Dr. T, fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Stay well, Arizona.